Hello, my dear students. Welcoming you back to our English class. Today with the mystery of the talking fan. Okay, this is a poem and this is going to be very interesting because it's a mystery. Even in our previous class, we did a lesson that is a mystery about a man where two children were trying to find about a person. And so likewise, even in this chapter, we are going to discuss about the mystery of the talking fan. Okay, have you ever seen a talking fan or have you ever heard a fan talking? I'm sure you all have ceiling fans, especially for the ones living in the hotter regions. You all have ceiling fans, and some of you would be sitting right below the ceiling fan right now. So if you see the movements and when you look at that, you will not feel that the fan can talk to you. But in this poem, we are going to see that a fan is talking. Let's get to see how it talks. But before that, you need to know about the poet, okay? The poet is Mr. Maud Robin, and he is an English poet. Born in the year 1981. I repeat, born in the year 1981, he had written a lot of poems. Okay, a person who writes poems are called poets. I hope you know that. And then there is a book called Leaves of Laurel. I repeat, Leaves of Laurel, which consists of 100 poems. It consists of 100 poems, and then he was not just an ordinary poet, okay? He had already received 42 state and national awards. You can imagine that. If you consider of writing a poem right now, some of you might have tried it. I know there are a lot of students who are very creative with their writing skills. They also try to write poems on their own. And some of you would have come up with very nice poems so far by now. But you can imagine, if you think about a person writing 100 poems, and those are not ordinary poems, because he had already received 42 state and national awards. Okay, state. Even to receive a state award is very high, isn't it? But you can imagine of getting a national award. That means from the whole country, your poem is selected to be a good poem, the best poem, and so you have been given award. So this is how our poet is. He had already received state and national awards, and then you are going to see that in the short poems we have only 6 lines poem. Okay, our poem is very short, but just in this short poem we are going to see the creativity that he presents to us. The creativity that we are going to see in this poem would be very interesting, because how can you think or how can you write a poem in 6 to 7 lines and make it very interesting? Because if you are going to prove your whole point to your readers, because we know we don't write for ourselves, we write so that other people will read our writings and then they will be inspired or they will enjoy it. This is what it's all about in writing. If you write a very good thing, it mean only to you, but the rest of the readers are not interested, you will not be a very successful or you will not be a very famous writer. But the way that this poet has written a very short poem with a lot of mysteries in it, and the joy that a person gets by reading this poem is very good. And this is the reason why this is included in our syllabus. Okay, there are a little bit of words that I want to explain it to you so that you will get to know better. Sometimes you read a very good writing, but when you don't understand the meanings of certain words, the excitement, the satisfaction is not there, isn't it? Even if you have read the whole thing over and over again and there is a particular word in a line that you don't understand, what will it mean to you if you don't understand, even if it carries a very good meaning? So the same thing with a poem. So I'm going to just explain 3 words to you. Whirling. Okay, the word whirling means moving in circular motion in a very swift manner, not just slowly. If you look at a fan, a ceiling fan, what do you see? It does not move in a very slow motion, isn't it? It moves very swiftly so that more air will be passed to the ones who are sitting, and it is designed in such a way that it will exert more energy, that we will have the freshness, we will have the coolness from the fan that we receive. The moving of circular motions on the fan is called as whirling. and mystery. Mystery is something that we do not understand. Sometimes we see a lot of mysterious people, right? Mystery means not being able to understand fully. So, just by the title itself, when you look, the talking fan, mystery of the talking fan, you have never heard or you have never seen a fan talking so far in your whole life, in your entire life, and you have never heard of anyone talking about a fan that talks. And we are reading this, and so it's a mystery for all of us, because just by looking at the title, you don't understand, because your whole life you have never seen a fan talking. And the words still here, still means to be silent or to be quiet. Okay, there are different meanings of the word still, but in our context, we are going to use it as a thing which does not move or a thing which does not make noise. Okay, this is how it goes about. These are the three words that you will find it difficult. As a poem is a very short one, I want all of us to take our books and read the poem together. Okay, we will also be discussing about the rhyming scheme, the rhyming scheme that a poet uses. And as we also know, it is very important to present our rhyming schemes very well if we want to make our poem interesting. Unlike story writing or unlike other kinds of writing, we know that a poem needs to have a rhyming scheme to make it look more beautiful and to make it sound more beautiful to the readers and to the listeners. And that is why rhyming scheme is very important. So let's get to our books. We will read those few lines together, and then you will get a rough idea. You will understand 50% of what the poet is trying to tell us through this poem. So get ready. Mystery of the Talking Fan. Okay, page number 97. We are ready. I'm going to start, but we will first do the warm-up session. Is there a ceiling fan in the room where you are sitting right now? Is the fan quiet or noisy? If it is noisy, you may be sure it is a distant relative of the talking fan in the poem which you are going to read. Now, if any one of you are sitting under a fan, you can look at it and also listen. If there is any sound or if it is noisy, you can imagine that it is a distant relative, not very close cousins, okay? But it is also a relative of the fan that we are going to read about. So I want you to have an observation at that right now. If you are the one sitting below the fan, and see whether it's a relative or not. If it's making a sound, it's surely a relative of the fan that we are going to read about. Okay, getting to the poem. Mystery of the Talking Fan. Once there was a talking fan, electrical his chatter. I couldn't quite hear what he said, and I hope it doesn't matter, because one day somebody oiled his little whirling motor and all the mystery was spoiled. He ran as still as water. Maud Rubin. That is what a poem is. It's a very short poem, as I've told you. So one day the poet saw that a fan was talking so much. Okay, he considers the sound of the fan to be talking, and he felt as if the fan was trying to talk to him, but he could not understand because they are not of the same being. You can imagine of an animal trying to talk to you, but animals make sounds in another way that we humans don't understand fully. Of course, there are some pets that we can understand just by the noise, just by the sounds that they make. But for this fan, a fan never talked, but the poet thought that the fan was trying to tell him something. Okay? The fan was just trying to tell him something, but he could not understand. At first, he was a little worried about that, but he also thought, I guess it's okay. I hope it's fine even if I don't understand. Because sometimes when somebody is trying to tell you something important and you don't understand the message, it's important for you to know. But for the fan, for that matter, he felt and he hoped that the fan was not trying to tell him anything important. And so he did not understand, but he did not bother much. But he knew that the fan was always trying to tell him something which he did not understand. And in this, but one day the mystery is going to be solved. Okay, he called an electrician hoping that this electrician will understand what the fan was trying to tell. And in this process, when the electrician came, the electrician gave some oil to the fan. See, when some doors or when some objects at your home is making some creaking noise, what do? You put oil, isn't it? You might even have seen the tailor or your mother at home who sews clothes. If the machine is not running smoothly, what does the tailor do or what does your mother do? They will put some oil into that machine so that it will run more smoothly, isn't it? We want everything to go smoothly. And so likewise, even the electrician came, he began to fix the fan as it was very noisy, and then he also put some oil into the fan so that the fan will not make much noise or the fan will not talk so much, okay? Because it was talking a lot, it was making a lot of noise, chattering. Fans don't chatter, but the poet is presenting his language in such a humorous way, okay? There are some people who can be very humorous, isn't it? Even the same joke can be seen in two ways. There are some people who tries to make fun of things, but their words are not as funny as the others. There are some people who can create simple jokes and make the whole class laugh or can make the whole group laugh. And those are called as humorous. And our poet here is also a very humorous fellow. He considers the sound of the fan to be chatter. Chatter means talking so much, isn't it? We say that some students are chatterboxes in the classroom. You might be one of them. And I don't blame you for being a chatterbox because we humans are all gifted differently. But for a fan to chatter is something different. We don't expect a fan to chatter. But the poet brought this language. If it was you or I, we might not have thought of this language. We might not have used these words in a creative way because we just look at a fan and then considers to be an object that moves around to cool, to give freshness to the room or to bring cool air into the room. That's what we know about fans and not more than that. But for the poet, he had used it in such a way that he presents the fan to be a talking one, which is a mystery which he does not understand, and that was one reason why we call the poet to be a humorous fellow. And then the motor, the whirling motor, that means the rotating motor has to be oiled. Electrician came and put some oil on it, and then it began to move as smoothly as still water. Still water. There are some rivers that rushes down, isn't it? Some rivers rush down very noisily, and there are some rivers, especially in the lower areas or in the plain areas, they don't rush down noisily, they just move very still. That means without making much noise and without making much movements. Okay, sometimes our teachers tell us to be quiet in the classroom and listen to them. That means you have to be still, right? Quiet and still. And so the fan began to move very smoothly and still as a running water. That means very smoothly. Waters don't stop even if they have some thing blocking them. They just continue to move on as if there is nothing wrong, isn't it? If you try to stop a moving water, that's difficult. They will just run down smoothly and very still. And the fan began to move in such a way that it became very still. And then the mystery was solved. Now he got to know that the fan's language was understood only by the electrician and not by him, because he did not understand what the fan was trying. In fact, the fan was trying to tell him that it needs to be oiled. Okay, it needs oil so that it could move very smoothly. Our boy did not understand, and then he called the electrician. The electrician came, understood its language, and then oiled the fan so that it began to move very swiftly and it began to move in a swirling motion. Okay, and this is what the poem is about. Now we are going to discuss about the rhyming scheme. I'm sure you have been taught about rhyming scheme in your lower classes, and many of you will be aware of that. But if there is anyone who still does not know what a rhyming scheme is, I am going to explain it to you right now. Okay? Rhyming scheme. you can always take the the last word in the first line of the poem. Example, if this is the line of the poem, laurel, you can look at this last syllable. The word laurel has 2 syllables, okay? And the last one will be taken every time. So in the case of a poem, if you look at the book, what do you see? Once there was a talking fan. The word fan has to be marked, and in the second line, chatter. You can take the word ter, okay? So the first line, the first word will always be taken as A, okay? I'm going to write it down here. The first line will have the rhyming scheme of A. The second one, fan and chatter does not sound similar. So that means the second line has to be B, as they are not similar. I couldn't quite hear what he said. Said and fan doesn't sound similar, as well as it does not sound similar with chatter. So that means another scheme, A, B, C, okay? And then the fourth line, I hope it doesn't matter. So if you look at these 4 lines, chatter and matter sounded similar, so it has to go with B, okay? So the rhyming scheme of this poem will be A, B, C, B, D, E, D, E. If you mark the last syllable in your poem in each line, you will get to know the rhyming scheme. And in your higher classes, you will learn some more things, some more poetic devices that a poet uses. But for your class, it is very important to start getting to know the rhyming scheme of a poem, because slowly with every classes as you go higher, you will go some more poetic devices. You will also get to learn about similes and metaphors. These are some things that we need to know, okay? And here we also see the personification. The poet has presented the fan as a person, and so that is called personification. It does not talk, but it was presented as a talking object. So through the whole poem, if you look at it, the poet has humorously and very wisely used the object, that is the fan, as a talking object, which we don't realize. Sometimes we don't understand electrical terms, electrical languages. The poem does not present the fan as literally talking, but he is making us understand that every object makes their noise in their own way. Like a human being talks, okay? Animal makes different kinds of sound. A baby cries, so does the fan make some noise in order to show that there is something wrong with it. This is what we have seen through this poem. A quick recap here of the mystery of the talking fan. Mohd Rubin is our poet here. He was born in the year 1981. He had already written 100 poems, okay, with state awards and national awards. The book which he published is Leaves of Laurel, and he also contributed to other works. That means it's not only the 100 poems that he also wrote other things which were given to other books, okay? But this Leaves of Laurel is completely his own work, that is the 100 poems, okay? And he was a person with national and state awards. Now we have learned the rhyming scheme, and in total, he presents the fan as a talking object which we do not understand unless the electrician came, and then the electrician solved the problem. So likewise, we all have problems in our own life, but there is a particular person or a particular way to solve that. If he was just listening to the fan and tried to solve it on his own, things might go wrong. The same thing with you and I. If you have any problem, approach the right person. That person will help you in your life and also will help you solve the problem easily. Instead of you trying to solve it by yourself, that will prove to be more dangerous. If we try to fix the fan by ourselves, unlike the poet, it would create more problems. But when the electrician came, he understood the problem and solved it. And so, as a student, what you need to do is, if you have problem, you have to approach your elders and your teachers so that the problems can be solved at the right time. And with this, we are going to end this class. Thank you so much.